Meghan Markle, I believe, and this is creepy, has spent decades studying Princess Diana. But after she knew there was a chance to end up with a very badly damaged man like Prince Harry, she put that to the test. Is it any wonder that the only prize Meghan Markle's going to win in 2025 is the most disliked celebrity, alongside Ellen Degeneres and P-Diddy? That's as her Harper's Bazaar interview and was never disaster keeps going viral, especially because the Royal Grift has put together this video with the caption, "This woman is next level insane." And this is comparing Meganut, as TRG refers to her, and Princess Diana. And when you actually start looking closely now at the body language, it is so very obvious that Meghan has studied these videos of Diana, because if you note, for example, the hand gestures and also some of the tone in Meghan's voice and the way that she laughs and giggles, which also matches Diana, what you will learn is that this was not something that ran with Meghan's life pre-Harry. The Suits videos, the Deal or No Deal videos, none of them show the same type of body language, the Bambi eyes, the look away blink to the camera, the hand which just touches the chest and plays ever so briefly with the top of her shirt. Meghan Markle, I believe, and this is creepy, has spent decades studying Princess Diana. But after she knew there was a chance to end up with a very badly damaged man like Prince Harry, she put that to the test. She is an actress, not a very good one, but Harry's not a very bright man either. And as I say, the more and more you see, the more and more you compare and contrast, especially, by the way, with this type of high-pitched giggle, which was, again, never really part of Meghan's life. It's very obvious that this cosplay has a dark, dark undertone. And I thank the Royal Grift for that incredible research work, which I do recommend you watch on their X channel with sound. And of course, a lot of what's going on with Meghan is down to the fact that she can't get anything right. I mean, Radar Online now reporting that her disgusting hosting habits have been brutally ridiculed after the Diva Duchess is caught licking communal spoons and touching all food with her bare hands. They say it is the latest in a series of questionable hosting tips by the former royal turned wannabe lifestyle influencer. And what's fascinating is that Meghan decided that these short new clips, in lieu of her Netflix deal, were going to be a revelation. We're going to be the way to prove to the public that she is authentic. She thought she was doing something new. Of course, she's not. Lots of influencers are already there, and being able to prove day by day just why Meghan doesn't cut it in this space. And Nancy Sidley made a very good point looking at the Thanksgiving video of Emma Grede. Now, you'll know Emma as the friend of the Kardashian who interviewed Meghan for that podcast earlier this year. And Nancy writes, "It cracks me up how effortless this is for Emma Grede, while Meghan Markle struggles to make videos like this." So what I wanted to do for you, and my team has put it together, is compare and contrast Meghan Markle's flop, Wootton, overproduced Thanksgiving video, yes, with her disgusting habits, with Emma Grede's, I've got to admit, very natural, very authentic Thanksgiving potato video, where she actually teaches something a little bit personal. I think you'll agree when you watch this. Dan Wootton Outspoken is available as a podcast too. So to listen or watch us on the go, wherever you are, then please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. And as a personal favour to me, please rate and review, as it really helps our independent show.
And they can help themselves. This I had gotten from a vintage store and I love it. This is our raspberry. Actually a really nice way to add to a little yogurt parfait station. Start with some jam.
Very famous roast potatoes ahead of Thanksgiving. Before you all say it, I know that roast potatoes are not a traditional Thanksgiving thing, but they're my Thanksgiving thing. First thing you need to do is grab some potatoes and peel them.
I like having some of the fruits whole and the rest sliced in half. The same fruit just looks so much cuter. And on this one, let's put some whipped cream, the remaining strawberry and raspberry jam that we have, fan favorite in my house.
And a little more butter at this stage. I reckon these will be done in about 10 minutes. Potatoes are ready now. This is exactly how they should look. They need to be beautifully soft.
And that's how you do it. And Meghan Markle doesn't understand because, of course, the woman doesn't have an authentic bone in her body. It's also interesting that the Daily Mail's Rebecca English is now reporting the real reason why Meghan had to wheel Harry in for her Netflix Christmas special. This on the latest episode of Palace Confidential. Watch.
Rebecca, we haven't, as Richard said, we haven't seen Harry feature much before. Does this feel like, oh, we better wheel in the prince to keep the interest up? What's going on?
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a natural conspiracy theorist normally, but 100% on this. I mean, you know, the previous two series, you know, have been critically mauled. You know, I think the first series did better because there were quite a lot of what I would call rubberneckers, people and journalists having to watch it on repeat, you know. But the second series really fell pretty flat, and I think she's trying to kind of bring out the big guns.
Or perhaps it's a sort of desperate plea, you know, give us another season and you can see more of Prince Harry.
A bit
watch
more
us
of the
kiss
Harry
again.
and Meghan show. Yeah, I mean, I'm not even sure there was any mistletoe in sight, actually. Sound very prim and proper.
You
when
don't
I
need
say
mistletoe
that.
to kiss your husband.
Not when you're in love. We're going to get onto that in a minute. But
Whatever love means.
yeah, no, we're going to get onto that.
The translation there, they're not in love, or at least Meghan ain't in love with her husband. Let me bring in Angela Levin now. She is our Royal Mastermind, the biographer of Prince Harry and Queen Camilla. So, Angela, you'll see quite a lot still going on in terms of these PR disasters. Possibly the most brutal verdict on Meghan Markle's year is the fact that she's alongside Ellen Degeneres, the most hateful woman in showbiz, who really was able to prove over a number of years that her public persona is nothing like her private one, and P-Diddy languishing in jail. But you say she deserves this because her behavior and her obsession of herself gets worse and worse. What do you mean?
Well, I mean, you can't stand it because she's had a wonderful £32 million wedding, and she doesn't stop about complaining about it. Now, even if you don't like it, you shut up and you just say, well, it was amazing, it was overwhelming, it was amazing. No, she wants to hit it. She's hitting it about not being allowed to have her passport, and yet she's been flying without this passport, which nobody can do, even Meghan, for 14 times in the case when she didn't have her passport, allegedly. So she's awful. She's rude about her family, her royal family. Disgusting what she's done about the late prince and the late queen, and anybody that she can attack. She's there to destroy. I think she desperately is wanting to destroy. And this nonsense about trying to cook, which she doesn't do properly. We've seen things when she's got them upside down because she didn't even know what she was doing. You don't put all the stuff on a turkey in a silk dress, you know, you do that before you put it on the table. All these things are ridiculous, but she thinks she's absolutely wonderful. She's above anybody. She's so proud of herself. We saw her when she went to LA, didn't we? She rushed there to take pictures of herself, trampling over everything that was broken and dead. She just didn't care. It's all about her. And I think I feel now about Harry as a shocker. But on the other hand, she absolutely makes him as if he's worth nothing. I think the whole thing about her and herself is too much for anyone to take. And when she said about Harry, you know, I just fell for him because he was so childish, right? You know, I think if I said that about him, he'd be out the door. For goodness sake, how can anybody help somebody about that? I mean, it's just gross, isn't it?
Oh, it was a backhanded compliment if we ever saw one, Angela. And of
Ugh.
course, the other moment in that interview, which has gone viral, is the fact that even in a private home in New York City with no one else there, she has been introduced to guests as the Duchess of Sussex.
Yeah,
Now,
well, that
you've been looking into this, and you say actually the Debrett's new guide to etiquette and modern manners says the opposite. What have you found out?
Well, yes, the Debrett, which is by far the one sort of thing about good manners, it's got a new guide out, and it's a new guide to etiquette and modern manner. That's the title about it. And you do never do that. You never give yourself the name to walk into another room when your visitor is there. Your visitor is invited first, and you say, you know, this is June. You know, and then you say what her name is. But she can't bear that, you see. She rushes into things. She doesn't do things tidily and neatly, as we've seen about food, about her hair, about her clothes, about dealing with people. She doesn't come first with that. She's introduced afterwards. So she's done it all wrong. She's broken the whole thing of how to behave. So she thinks she's doing it, but she's not.
Angela,
And it
you also
surprised
say
me.
that she continues to treat Harry like an ignorant man-child. Again,
Yes.
explain that.
Well, I think that he now does only the things that she wants him to do. He doesn't actually really have any sort of personality left. If she tells him to get out the house and not come back for a week, then he won't. If she wants him to stand there opening the car doors, he will. He doesn't know what he's doing, but it's so dreadful for a man to be treated like that. Now, what's he doing there? Is he eating his breakfast? Yes, but she comes along, and if you look, she's pulling his neck down so that he gives her the kiss exactly when she wants it, right? Ugh! Now, he's having his breakfast or another, dessert, who knows? You don't have to do that, but she has to show herself off at that moment because that's what she wants. She doesn't care about anyone, her family, anyone, her friends last, and as long as she feels that they are obeying her, they have to do what she says, they have to agree that she's perfect. But, she doesn't even try, she can't even see through the fog that actually other people have feelings, and you have to be quite nice to them, or you have to understand that they might have different issues or problems or things that they like. But it's not, it's just her, it's always her. This amazing way of actually feeling that she's the only really, really amazing woman, a beautiful, clever, everything. She doesn't listen, and that's why she's such a flop, and that's why people are so fed up with her. Absolutely can't stand her. I mean, I sometimes think people say, I just can't stand that woman. I just can't stand that woman. Sometimes you see people, you don't particularly like them, fair enough, but, you let them get on with it. But she's got something that draws out nastiness in you that you want to sort of say, get out of it.
There have been some hilarious parodies, though, imagining Angela
Yes.
just what she was like in that Harper's Bazaar interview. This is probably my favourite watch. But first, quick word on something I rely on every single day: Surfshark. In a world where governments, big tech, and opportunist hackers are all vying for your data, keeping your browsing private isn't optional, it's essential. And here in the UK, we've even seen sites and reporting, some of our own, at Outspoken, pushed behind the Online Safety Act. So that's why I use Surfshark VPN. It shields what I do online, helps me steer clear of censorship, and lets me access the content I pay for wherever I am, even when I'm traveling and want to catch up on shows or sport that don't appear in the particular zone. But Surfshark isn't just a VPN. It's a full toolkit for safer browsing. Clean web block ads, trackers, malware, and phishing links so pages load cleaner and faster. It's a beautiful experience, actually. And if your connection ever drops, Kill Switch cuts the internet so your data doesn't leak. And if you need certain apps like online banking to skip the VPN, Bypasser handles that with a couple of clicks. There are 3,200 plus servers in over 100 countries, so you can switch locations in seconds. Great for finding better online deals. I have to be honest with you, I have snagged some cheaper flights thanks to Surfshark. And you can run Surfshark on unlimited devices too, which means your whole household is covered in one plan. If you want to lock down your data, defend your online freedom, and support Outspoken, head to surfshark.com/outspoken or use the code Outspoken at checkout to get an extra 4 months of Surfshark VPN. That's surfshark.com/outspoken or use the code Outspoken for an extra 4 months on us. You can click in the description box below this video too. But now, back to the show.
She's here.
This way, please. Introducing Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex.
Hi there. Thank you for being here.
I wasn't expecting this. You look like a college student.
This? It's my casual look. I can't look royal all the time.
Oh, I'm ready when you are.
Of course.
Let's talk about your work and your lifestyle brand. You've run into a lot of ups and downs, mainly downs.
You know, it's funny you say that. If all goes swimmingly, you don't learn from it. Growth comes from the messy moments, not when everything's perfect. I don't want to chase perfection. I'd just rather have fun, explore, and be creative.
Yes, tell us about your work from home setup.
So my office is next to the kitchen because you know how much I love food.
Where does it go?
And I also love the idea of my daughter Lily being able to climb on my lap while I'm having a virtual meeting with execs from Netflix. I'm just a normal mom trying to get through the day. I think it really shows how important family is to me.
Angela, very good, right? Very
Gosh,
good.
Brilliant, isn't it? It's absolutely brilliant. And the way she moves to this side and that side, which is what she's done in all the photographs that are taken of her. There's many, many ways possible. Whichever way you look at her, she's absolutely amazing. But this is too funny. Look, I looked at that very closely. She looks so dull. She looks so miserable. She looks as if life has let her down. It hasn't. She's had vast amount of money. She's known all over the world, but she just likes to feel that she's having a very bad time. Poor things, it's all so sad. And she thinks that's, there's another one. She thinks that's attractive and makes her look more beautiful, but it's absolutely ridiculous and nonsense, isn't it? It's awful. She just makes herself look awful. And she's doing that because she thinks she'll get further that way when she's being photographed. And look at that. Oh, I'm so worried. You want to go mad. It's not natural, is it? Like you showed with the woman, with the potatoes.
With Emma Greedo.
She's very natural. 1, 2, 3, she smiled and laughed. It wasn't difficult. But with Meghan, it's never her. It's like a sort of automatic doll that's walking there to do it somehow and to get it right.
Angela, she's also been very strongly criticised for what she had to say about the LA riots in that interview, specifically by Americans. These are her locals. These are her fellow Californians. Let me show you this report. Meghan Markle slammed, this is from Radar Online, for branding LA riots cinematic. She acts like seeing a few looters carrying diapers makes her a war survivor with PTSD. And they report Meghan Markle is facing a fierce backlash after describing the 1992 Los Angeles riots as cinematic. The row stems from Markle's new Harper's Bazaar interview, which sources have told us appears to be so sycophantic it is as if the Duchess edited it herself. Markle's December cover profile sees her revisit being 11 years old during the killer LA uprising sparked by the fatal police beating of Rodney King. She babbles in the piece. It was cinematic in a way. I don't think many people can understand. It was so visual. Smoke everywhere. People were driving around with the back of their SUVs open. Markle, who was raised middle class away from those who rioted. Ads of the looters who took to the streets during the uprising. I saw people running with boxes of diapers, smashed windows, so much fire and ash falling from the sky that it felt like snow. She later adds she thinks the City of Angels is resilient, saying it was scary, but LA survived it. The interview has triggered a wave of criticism from local residents who lived through the unrest and media commentators who say the Duchess of Sussex's framing of the riots is at best self-dramatising and at worst historically tone deaf. One LA source says she acts like seeing a few looters carrying diapers makes her a war survivor with PTSD, like some kind of veteran. It's a joke and shameful. People died, neighborhoods burned. For anyone really there, it wasn't a movie scene. It was people's lives. Another resident of the city raged, she says the ashes fell like snow. We lost half the city. Who talks like that? Yet another critic joked, Meghan didn't grow up in no ghetto. Someone needs to tell her she didn't live through boys in the hood. And one said, Meghan says, I saw ash falling from the sky. Those who were there saw fear, violence, poverty, and boarded up stores. And it's the way Meghan almost narrates it like a movie voiceover, of course, giving herself the starring role. Another critic said Meghan always frames events through how they shaped her, not what they mean to the wider community. That's what grates about this. And I think that last point is incredibly fair, isn't it? Like, if you are someone who is truly about changing the world, it's not all about you. Not everything is about you and your experience. Meghan, you lived a very middle-class life, right? Like, but she only ever talks about things in regards to herself because she is truly narcissistic. So do you think this criticism here is fair enough?
Absolutely. I mean, it makes you feel very angry because she does only see things with her own eyes. And to say that it was okay, make a good film is absolutely disgusting, isn't it? I mean, she doesn't see things like that. There we are. She could try and get the best role there and everything will be fine. But actually, she can't see how other people are managing. That's why she's being so rude to people. And that's why people just don't like her, because this is a terrible thing to say about a terrible accident, absolutely shocking, when people are dying and they can't rebuild all their homes and all what they've got. And she sort of talks about it as if she's telling you what's in a film. I mean, it is just very strange. She's a very, very strange person. And she doesn't think that anyone else is noticing that she's copying everyone. She's copying people she wants to. She copied Diana to the core. She copies everyone, doesn't she? She does with Princess Catherine over clothes. She does everything she can to be like other people and take bits. But she's not there. She's a sort of emptiness there, that she's not actually what she's doing. She's not somebody who can understand people. I mean, you see Catherine, and she goes to see children, small children, and they run to her like mad. They've never seen her before, but they run to her because they can see the kindness and the wonderfulness of her being. But Meghan, they often push them away. Little tiny girls and boys push them out. They don't want her there. Now, you can't actually tell that to children. Don't be so rude. This must be nice to both ladies. But they can sense that she's not very nice. I've seen it so many times.
They really can, including her own children.
Children are like that. They have a sense of who's nice and who isn't. When they're small, they can be a bit more well behaved. When they're older, but when they're small, they don't want to know. They didn't want to know about her. That's why she does it less and less, because it's embarrassing.
Meanwhile, Catherine, the Princess of Wales, is proving that she is prepared to take on difficult issues and also really champion causes that she hasn't personally experienced. This with her support of addicts for Addiction Awareness Week. So I just want to tell you what Catherine has said in her message. I know you've got some concerns about it, Angela, so I'll bring you in after. She has said, addiction is not a choice or a personal failing, but a complex mental health condition that should be met with empathy and support. But still, even now in 2025, people's experience of addiction is shaped by fear, shame, and judgment. This needs to change. The The stigma surrounding those who face addiction allows it to thrive behind closed doors, impacting families and communities, and ultimately ruining lives. Many of us will know someone who is struggling with an addiction. Now is the moment to show our compassion and love to help them or their friends and family, to reach out to organizations like the Ford Trust for support. Recovery is hard, but with the right treatment, it is possible. And this begins with a conversation, a listening ear, and showing we care. Now, I really love this, Angela, but you have a few concerns. Well, what are they?
Well, I do. I think that partly due to the fact that she's been so ill, that she actually feels that everything should be loved and cared for, and in a very sort of kind way, which is nothing wrong in that, but it's not very easy to behave like that. You know, you look at the nature and it's lovely, but when you come to people who are really in a very difficult state, I think it's very hard just to sort of give them love and kindness and everything, because I think a lot of them have come from families where they've never been loved and they don't know what love is. And I think it disturbs a lot of them. I worked in a prison for 10 years way back on my spare time. And I could see that people who are very, very drugged up find it very difficult to take love. They don't have it at home and it's very hard for them. So I'm not saying she's wrong, because she's a remarkable woman, but I think you have to be more handling it in a way where you have to get them to really want to stop. It's very, very hard. And I've seen hundreds of them in a terrible state, but they won't do that because they don't know who they are, and they don't have anyone who really looks after them. A lot of them don't have mothers or fathers, or are living in the streets since they were 10. You know, it's a way that you have to enthuse them, I suppose, and tell them they can do things. But I think that love comes a bit later, when they're a bit more mature, and it doesn't scare them because they haven't got the feelings inside them yet to manage it.
Fascinating insight, Angela Levin. Thank you so much, our Royal Mastermind. And do stand by. Big news, actually, in regards to Prince William's vow to strip Harry and Meghan. What is going on? We'll have the latest, and we're going to do it over on Substack with the rest of the Royal Uncancelled After Show. You can join us at www.outspoken.live. Paid monthly and annual subscribers get first access to the Outspoken Royal Uncancelled After Show. You can watch Monday to Friday on Substack, either live or on demand, whichever you prefer, with no advertising whatsoever, which a lot of you have asked for. And the thing about Substack is it's just the best way to directly support my work. If you do enjoy what I do here on Outspoken, it is a free speech platform. It protects me from big tech cancellation. I would love you to be part of our community there. www.outspoken.live is the address.
Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please click on my face just to the bottom left to subscribe to this brand new independent news source, and turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to our brand new live shows, uncancelled interviews, and special royal episodes. Outspoken is also now available as a podcast, so you can listen to the show every weekday on the go, wherever you are.